Hey, joining us from Southern West Virginia Health System, we have licensed independent clinical social worker Mary Aldridge Crouch. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Talk a little bit about what is behavioral health and some of the things you all offer at Southern West Virginia Health System.
Well, behavioral health is simply a broader term for traditional mental health because it is far more inclusive. It includes things like chronic disease and chronic pain, bereavement, all kinds of process addictions like gambling or food addictions, that sort of thing. So in terms of what Southern West Virginia Health System's providers refer people to me for, I laugh and say that, I handle birth to death and brooms, mops, and assorted tasks, because anything that gets in a person's way of leading a full and productive life is fair game for behavioral health assistance.
Okay. Yeah, and talk a little more about that. So how does behavioral health affect the adult population?
Well, I think that most of the adult population struggle with something. We may not know what, but sleep deprivation, most of us are too busy, we sleep too little, our diets are terrible. We have all good intentions of exercising, but walking to the fridge constitutes an exercise program. The primary things that each of us can do that's pretty simple is watch your diet, get proper sleep, and get exercise. You don't have to run a marathon, but exercise 3 to 5 times a week will do wonders for you. Walking will do wonders.
Oh yeah, physically and mentally, you just feel better all over.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of behaviors that it sounds like can really negatively impact our mental health.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Any of the behaviors that people adopt to try to cope with their lives can either be healthy or they can be very, very unhealthy. Eating too much, drinking too much,
Mm-hmm.
Drugs, all kinds of things have very damaging impacts.
So what are some ways to improve behavioral health? What can people do?
Well, be mindful of your sleep habits, be mindful of your diet, try to exercise. We all have good intentions as far as exercise goes, but carrying that out, usually it ends January 2nd. Avoid isolation. We are a species that is intended to socialize, so that any connections that we have with other people go a long, long way toward ensuring good mental health.
And what should you do? What do you suggest if we think maybe a friend or a loved one is dealing with these issues? What can we do to help them?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is that you avoid diagnosing. Don't look it up on Google and then offer up a diagnosis. I would suggest telling your friend or family member that you're concerned about them and what it is that you're seeing that is leading you to be concerned. If they are receptive to that, then you might suggest they get some help either from professional mental health provider or from their primary care provider. A whole lot of people end up in their primary care provider's office because something is bothering them. Because mental health issues are so badly stigmatized still, talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
If the person is receptive, listen to them. That may be all they need. If they are not receptive, I would leave it alone because you may spoil a chance to be of help later. But tell them you're concerned.
That's right. Just start those conversations. Mary, thanks so much for sharing all this information with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.